You've seen this video of this, since we're on Facebook and not on the air, this douchebag who's punching the seat back in front of it. What?
Punches thrown. The guy's
like, yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Because he was...
Yeah, shots fired.
Throwing punches.
So I'm going to rant about this on the air here in a couple minutes, but I just want to show you the video a little bit so you can be prepared to see it. Right. I have a little piece of it here. This is this guy. She leaned back. He didn't like it, so this is how he responded to it.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty annoying, isn't it?
I'm going to double that douchebaggery.
I have
what
to
a
say,
jerk.
I am a person who, Jake, I think you and I are alike in this way. Like, I don't handle conflict well. Like, I'll probably take stuff I shouldn't take because I hate conflict so much. So for someone to have that kind of cojones to do that, I can't imagine being that guy. I just can't.
I don't like conflict with people who I know and am with all the time. Mm-hmm. But if a stranger is causing me a hassle, it takes me 1 second to turn around and call them on their BS.
No, but I mean, I can't imagine being the dude that would do that.
Oh.
Now.
Yeah. No.
I don't know what I would do if somebody did that to me. Of course, because you're not a douchebag.
Because
then I think that somebody doing that to you would be so much that you would probably, I might lose it in that case.
If I was that lady, I would have turned around and punched him between the nose.
Yeah.
That's really not, him punching the seat and her punching him is not really like any different. You can't handle things like
Aren't
that.
Aren't they both harassment?
Well, you don't get to like fight fire with fire. That's not how we do it.
Well, you call it self-defense.
You can, but you can both end up in jail. But Jake, do you want to? Because there's something Jake's. We're getting ready to talk about this on the air, and Jake brings out something about the airlines that shocked me. Do you want to talk about it now, or you want to make him wait for it on the air?
That's fine. The lady, the flight attendant, after getting complained to by the gal in front, her name's Wendy or something like that. The flight attendant came back and gave her like side eye for being a hassle passenger, and then threw some free drinks at that guy.
For what? For his what?
Yeah, and I wonder if he hadn't already had too much to drink.
I don't know about that.
I mean, if I just
so from that video, is he in the very last row?
Yep.
So he also cannot lean back.
Yeah.
So
I'm not justifying what he's doing, like, at all.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are in the last row, that does suck because that usually if someone reclines in front of me, I recline back also,
sure,
as to make equal space. But if you're in the last row, that lady's...
So it's if it's anybody's fault, if it's anyone, it would be the airline's fault, not this poor lady who's just doing what her chair does.
Right.
Yeah,
right?
Like there's that feature on a plane so you can lean back and relax.
I'm going to not say it's the airline's fault. The airline's, put in the seat. I'm saying the fault 100% lies with this dude. There's no way. We got to do some radio real quick, but there's no way. There's no way.
Give us 1 second. We'll be back.
Anybody's at fault but him.
Coming up next, why does a man repeatedly punch the seat in front of him on an airplane?
And why is the internet divided about this at all? Why is anybody siding with this guy? I'll rant about it next.
I can't possibly imagine the airline stewardess siding with the guy.
She did. This happened.
I know, but I can't imagine that because you've got one guy who's just sort of inconvenienced and frustrated. Wah. You either checked in late, so you got the last seat on the plane, or you bought your ticket very last, and that was all that was left. So that's your fault.
I wonder if the flight attendant, though, cutting her a break here, or him a break, I guess it was a female, but I wonder if she was like, you know what, this guy is such an a-hole that there's no talking to him. There's no getting him to, so I'm going to just try to be nice to him, give him a drink, and see if he'll lay off.
That's possible.
I hope.
Maybe she was trying to de-escalate the situation.
And what the story also didn't say was that they free massage chair. Robert,
can you hit a little lower?
No, I didn't see that.
Can you get my lower back?
Shiatsu. The lady asked him early on in the flight when she first reclined. The guy threw a fit. I don't know if it was polite or not because that part wasn't in the story. But he said, "Hey, I'm eating here. Can you tilt your seat back up. And then she did it.
Oh.
She waited about 10 minutes for him to finish eating, and then she reclined again. And that's when he started. And this doesn't show it. This shows just the beginning of the video, or the middle part of the video, but it doesn't show him slugging
Right now,
the seat
he's
back.
just
Before
pushing.
this, he was hitting it hard.
Oh my
punching it
gosh.
hard. Now he's just like poking at it and being annoying.
What a violent person.
Yeah.
That seems like
Oh yeah, that's anger management, don't you think? I mean, that's a guy who needs help. He needs help.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the guy hasn't surfaced. I guess the airline is protecting him, which I guess I can understand. But like,
Of course.
But that video, there's a lot of people know who that is.
oh sure,
So I'm surprised more people aren't coming. And he's had to have been a jerk to somebody else.
yeah. And this is
Yeah.
there is a like in every poll that I've seen, it's about like a 70-30 split. 30% people blaming her for reclining, and saying that this is all her fault.
I don't fly that much, so maybe that's why I find it so highly offensive. Maybe if I flew more and I had that guy, I had that person in front of me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's happened to me. I've been on a flight and I've thought, I wish they would lean forward, but I never thought of it as it's their fault because their chair leans back.
Right.
And like Jen said, when they lean back, you can just lean back, right?
Yeah. Or just deal with it. It's not as if it's rubbing up against your nose. You still.
Yeah.
It's not like you can't breathe.
I
because
thought
they're
maybe
there.
when you first told me about the story, Jake, I thought maybe he was a guy who was very, very overweight. And so but he's not.
Yeah, as a guy
Yeah,
who
there's-
is overweight, I'm
Yeah.
big. Even if I were skinny, I'm still big. I'm a big person.
Yeah.
I'm in the top 10% of people.
Right.
And so when I fly, when the person in front of me reclines, it's totally fine by me. Like that's your space. You
Yeah.
paid for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have between the seat in front of you and the extension of your seat back. Like
Yeah.
that's what you've
That's
paid
your
for.
area.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to recline back, I would do that. I myself, I don't recline because I do not wish to get into space or to like affect the flight. I'd rather just be uncomfortable than the person behind me be uncomfortable. But that's my choice. Their choice is to lean back, and they totally have a right to do it.
I wonder, you know how like on a lot of flights there's a secret air marshal? Like you never know who they are.
Like a
but
sky
but
marshal,
most
yeah.
flights have someone on
Yeah.
there. I wonder if maybe this flight didn't have someone. So like Tony said, the flight stewardess was trying to like maybe de-escalate the situation on her own, because if they would have approached him
Because he's
and
Yeah,
told
freak.
him to quit it, and he would have got even more
Yeah.
aggressive, like maybe there wouldn't have been somebody on the flight to.
If there's
Yeah.
sky marshals, I don't think that's their business.
that's a great question.
Just
I would
grumpy
love to know
people,
the answer to
that's
that.
really the flight attendant's job.
But I'm saying if he was that grumpy and punching the chair just based on that situation, imagine how like grumpy and maybe aggressive he could have gotten if he would have been confronted by somebody.
Yeah.
And been like, "You need to stop, sir."
Yeah. I
And
wonder-
then what? He might have gone berserk.
I wonder if he would have done the same thing had that been a man sitting in front of him. That's another thing. I mean,
A man who looked like could have knocked him out.
because that's maybe, and it doesn't matter male or female. It's wrong both ways. But it really upsets me that he would do that to, I'm old school. I mean, to do that to a female is even more offensive to me. Especially she appears to be a lady that's in her 40s or 50s. I couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
If
And
you're-
there's further to this story. What's this comment?
It says it's not her fault how he chose to respond. I understand that how he is feeling sitting in the last row, but you get off the plane and go. Can you believe that lady wouldn't move her seat back up after I asked her? And then you grumble later to a pal, but
Yeah.
you don't do what
That's the
you-
proper way to handle it.
Yeah.
Is get on and rant about it or whatever. You don't like punch the seat. That was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You said there was more deets and
So
more
the lady is now
stuff?
she's going to press charges first for assault, which
Yeah.
whatever it was, assault technically. But
Yeah.
she's also going to for pain and suffering because she has like a back issue or something like that that she's now claiming has been exacerbated by this incident.
I wonder what airline.
That-
Do we know what airline she's on?
That drives Jake crazy, by the way. You hate frivolous lawsuits.
God, I hate it. I hate like
I think most people do. Do we know airline? This
we
was
do, and
on?
I don't think I know right at the moment.
Oh,
American, I want to say.
I feel like depending on what airline you're on depends on the outcome.
Yeah,
I
bet.
always fly Alaska. Like I don't even care if it's the more expensive flight.
Yeah.
I will pick the Alaska flight because I know they're great. And I've had discrepancies in the past. Like one time this guy was helping me get checked in and he totally screwed it all up and accidentally like took me off the flight. It was a big hot mess and they made the mistake. And so they called me and said, hey, we'd like to hook you up with like 10,000 free air miles. We'll cover any charges to get you on the next flight, even if it's more expensive. Like they were very accommodating and kind. And so I know that on some airlines they just make an apology statement and don't service the customer at all.
Right.
So I wonder if the airline would have reached out to this lady and just simply said, "We're so sorry for what happened. Here's a pair of round trip airfare to wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Just when you book it, it's on us." That she maybe would have been like, "Wow, thanks," and then just let it go.
Right.
But I don't know if that happened.
I don't think the flight
here.
attendant handled it in a way that made her happy at all. That's why it escalated.
I got to be honest though. Most of the time when I'm on an airplane, before I lean my chair back, I do look just to kind of get a feel for who's behind me. And if it's a guy that's a big dude, or maybe a lady who's overweight or whatever, I might not do it because it would go into
inconvenience.
No way.
Yeah,
there's nobody so big that the chair would touch them if you leaned back.
The tray, I mean.
No, the trays don't move. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't fly that often either, but the trays don't move.
Yeah.
The trays aren't mounted to the seat back. They are mounted to the frame. So when you lean back, you just lean into the space between the frame, right?
But it still goes back a little bit farther.
I don't think so.
So here's the seat, and here's the thing in it. You lean back, and then your tray opens here, and then you can slide it in and out. So if the seat's leaning back, and you do have your tray, it is technically like a little bit more forward.
I think you guys are incorrect on that. I think it's because there's a frame that it sits in, and then it comes out of that. But this is not attached to the actual seat; it's attached to the frame of the seat. So when you lean back, the seat leans back into the empty space.
I see what you're saying.
I see what you mean.
When you lean back, the tray table doesn't move at all.
Instead of the tray table going back, the seat kind of goes over the tray table.
Yeah.
Right, and into it a little bit.
Did you see in the video, the guy has his phone look at his phone's on the tray.
Yeah, and it's not moving. Look.
But
he's punching her seat, but the tray is not moving.
But if he's watching something on his phone,
he is.
Wouldn't it be more beneficial to him for her seat to be back and his tray to be down? Like, wouldn't it be more comfortable for his neck?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's watching it. You could see it. He was watching a movie.
He's watching a video on there.
Why was he? God, he's just a jerk.
Oh.
he's just a jerk.
He's just a jerk. That's the best way to put it.
Oh, somebody said this guy should have spent the $10 to get a bigger seat. Always, or pay for first class if you are that picky.
I always do. I like if they would come by, sit in the emergency row.
Yeah.
And I feel so awesome because they'll come back and they'll look at you and go, in case of an emergency, are you willing to help others? And I'm like, you're damn straight I am.
That's why I got on the flight.
I feel like a superhero.
I don't even want to go to Cleveland.
This is my only chance to be a hero.
Until you have a crazy person who gets up and starts, I'm going to take my life, and they run towards the door.
I don't think that's your job.
Open the door. I'm just saying, if you're next to that person,
I'm knocking them out.
You got to take them down.
Put them in the overhead bin.
Yeah.
They'll come grab you.
I remember when I was pregnant with Bridger on a flight, I was sitting in that row because I wanted the extra leg room.
Yeah.
And you can't be pregnant in that row.
Oh.
And so she came up to me and she goes, I don't want to be rude. And she was like very sweet about it because she didn't want to come across as the pregnant lady can't do what other people do. But she was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, it's against our flight rules to have you sit in the emergency seat.
I'm sorry, I'm not pregnant. You should have said that just to see what the poor woman would have done.
So mean.
Just for fun, just for a little bit at least.
I can't think that quick like you two can. But she was like, I would love to move you up to, and she moved me up to a nicer seat. And I was like, oh, thanks. But basically, hey, pregnant lady, we can't trust you to save people's lives.
You're like, this is awesome. Can I drink beer up there too?
Flying just sucks for some people. Like, I think people get in a weird headspace when they're on an airplane.
I hate to fly.
Flying sucks. I mean, it's like not a pleasant
You're in a
experience.
small space, and it just, you have to be very pleasant. And
although I did recently find out, way off subject, you can fly between here and Seattle now for like $70. So $140, you can fly in and fly out.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe that might be a better deal for me to go see my kids.
Well, yeah, you'd save on speeding tickets too.
Save speeding tickets.
Wouldn't you have to rent a car when you get there, though?
That's what I got to work on, getting a girlfriend that lives there.
so she
work
can
on
come
that.
pick
You
him
are
up.
doing it for all the right reasons. I can
All the
tell.
right. That's yeah. That and love. And love.
Oh, love too. Okay.
That
Yeah,
and
yeah.
love.
I'm teasing.
All right. You got any more comments, Jen?
I had a few that came in. Someone said Judge Judy put this guy into shape.
Oh, that would be a great Judge.
That would be
Judy.
Get
a
him
great
on there.
Judge
People's court type
Judy.
thing.
Get him on there.
Yeah, just that he's a jerk.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, all the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We
all right,
agree.
then. We got to get ready for Smartest in the Northwest. Obviously, it's Oregon versus Washington. Washington has been losing a lot lately, but they're still out in front. So
Oh yeah.
let's get the ding with some Chris Young tickets coming up.